Hello, everybody. Um, I thought I'd do another little short chit-chat video. There's a guy on Instagram. Well, he's on a few of the social media. What's his name? He's so funny. Oh, I forget his name. He's a gay gentleman. And he tells stories about when he was young in the 90s. Which, it was the 90s. Yeah, he's a little younger than me, because he was a teenager in the 90s, and I was already, like, in my 20s. But his stories are so funny. And I kind of remember some of the stuff he says, even though he was younger. Like, I remember the things he talks about. So that's kind of fun. But, I've been obsessed lately with cow hoof trimming videos. There are various hoof trimmers. That's their job. And they are kind of ASMR-ish a little bit. You have to watch. You can't just lay there with your eyes closed and listen, because that's not what the ASMR part is. It's watching the guy trim. I don't know if it's ASMR. I don't get tingles. I never have. But, I think if, for those of you who have the tingle thing from ASMR, it might do it for you. You might want to try. You have to like pus. But, I don't like seeing pus on humans, but for some reason it doesn't bother me on animals. I'm not sure what the reason is, but so they'll be trimming the hoof, everything normal, everything looks great, and then suddenly he'll hit a pocket full of pus. I don't even know how it gets in there. He explains that there's a little, I guess, around the side of the hoof. It's like our fingers. Around the side of the hoof, you have the kind of sort of they don't call it a cuticle, but it's sort of like the cuticle. It's called, oh, and I'm forgetting all the vocabulary, because, when you see new things, you learn new vocabulary. Recently also, and not so recently, it's like been a couple of years now, I've been watching chiropractors. And there's one that I just love. Just something about the way she does the chiropractic that I like. And I watch other chiropractors and they're just not quite, I don't know, it just doesn't make me want to watch them as much. But her chiropractic I like. Brenda Mondragon. Just how it sounds. Brenda Mon, M-O-N, Dragon, like the dragon. If you want to look her up, chiropractor. You can type into YouTube Brenda Mondragon chiropractor or something like that. She'll pop up because she's got a. Does she have 1 million? I think she has 1 million subscribers. I think she just hit 1 million recently. And so have a look at that. She does what's called gua sha. In part of it, it's not just her cracking them and they're gone. She does like a whole long chiropractic thing where she's kind of like massaging them, but it's not a relaxing kind of massage. It's a chiropractic kind of massage, which sometimes hurts. It's not the relaxing kind. Although, some parts the patients appear relaxed. So I'm sure some parts, I've never had it done, but it's like a massage. And then other parts hurt a little bit because she's got to stretch the muscles, and especially the neck. She massages their neck first, and she talks, and I like that she'll say, "See, that one maybe you could close your eyes and just listen if you don't care about watching the chiropractic." And the gua sha is the part that I like. She scrapes their back with a tool, and it makes the impurities come to the surface, or that's how she explains it. So there's that. So you could just listen to that one, but it's kind of the whole experience is watching and listening. But she talks like almost through the whole thing, but nice. It's not like it's very relaxing. She'll say, "Oh, I've hit the intraspinatus," and she'll say these big words about parts of muscles and bones in the body. "Oh, here I've hit the..." I don't even remember the names. I should remember them. I mean, I listen to her all the time, but So she'll use this interesting vocabulary that you've probably never heard before, unless you've learned, the parts of the body for like some kind of. I mean, it's not just like arm, leg. She'll use these terms. There's one that I'm always hearing, and look, now I don't know. So you might watch her, but as far as the hoof videos, the cow hoof videos, I'm not really into the horse hoof. They have some horse hoof videos too, where they shoe horses, and that I don't mind it, but I don't enjoy it as much. The cow hoof ones, he'll be cutting along. He uses like a sharp. It almost looks like a vegetable peeler, but it's sharper. It's a lot. It's like a knife. And he'll be slicing at the hoof, but it's all horn. It's not something where the cow hurts. And so he'll be slicing along, getting the hoof sort of like cutting his nails, her nails. They're usually female cows. And then suddenly there's a pocket and this pus will burst out. Sometimes it just oozes out. And sometimes I love the ones. I know it's weird. I love the ones where it bursts and you just all this pus coming out. Oh, I'm getting excited. And then there's other videos that are kind of related, because these hoof trimmers are only really supposed to just do the hoofs. But cows get hurt a lot out in the field. There's rocks and their gates they rub against, or they get hit when they're in the milking machines, or if they're beef cattle, they have other problems. The milking machines, they bang themselves sometimes, and so they'll get abscesses on their leg, not at the hoof, a little higher up. And then, if they're not treated, usually they say they leave them, but sometimes those abscesses grow and grow and grow and fill with pus, and they just don't, they don't get better. So when he's trimming a hoof, occasionally, he's not supposed to, a veterinarian is supposed to do it, but if it's kind of and sometimes they burst when, and that's the other thing. I haven't seen them use the scalpel. I've seen them try to pull out pus like with a needle, but it's usually too thick, so then they'll call the vet. So then the next step, on other channels, you'll have veterinary channels, and the vet, Enoch is one, Enoch. I don't remember his last name. You can type in Enoch veterinarian, cow, something like that, and he might pop up. And he does a lot of abscess videos where the cow will have this huge abscess somewhere on their body, and so he has to go in and lance it with a scalpel. A little cut, and then you can imagine when he slices it with the scalpel, boom, the pus is pouring out like a fountain. I mean, there is a lot. They get really, really big, and I love it. And as the pus is, I swear it's like a hose with water coming out. I mean, it's just incredible. It's not just like he squeezes it and a little comes. It's just incredible. It's like it could fill a bucket, like a big 10-gallon bucket or something, and maybe a little less. And then once all the pus is out, he rinses out the wound. He's got the cow now has this very deep wound. It's a puncture, basically, done on purpose. So then he has to rinse it out. And it's just, interesting. Watch all the stuff. And then as he's rinsing it, it comes out cleaner and cleaner. And then he puts the medicine. I don't understand all that part. Gives him an antibiotic. And so those are cool. I love those. Like I'll Google abscess cows. Like now I'm on YouTube Googling cows abscess to see if I can discover other vets. So. And he, and the reason various of these there's like at least 4 or 5 that I've been not watching all of them, but I'll pick out the abscess videos on each channel. I guess I'm not too interested in any other, except for the hoof trimming ones. And, Oh, they're trying to educate us. You see, those are the good channels that we need to be watching, where we're learning about farming, which is becoming more and more important. If you're someone who cares about the environment, you should be encouraging small local farms, which are always better for an animal. Even if the animal ends up being killed for meat, which is kind of sad, but it's still, during their life, at least, they're living a nice life out in the fields, and chickens will lay eggs. They'll have, chickens running around in a, maybe a gated area, but they have at least access to the outside, and they can run around, and they lay eggs. And, I'm sure it's hard to have a cow. I mean, if you, decide to have a little homestead, cows are cows are not easy to take. I had a horse for a little while when I was little, and it's a lot of work, to keep them healthy and happy, and you know. So, but chickens, I'm thinking if I had a little place to live where I had some yard, I'd get some chickens. But you have to be careful with chickens too, especially if you live in areas where there are predators, foxes, even dogs. If out in the country, dogs run loose usually, many times. They'll get into the chicken coops. So support local farms and support your local vet that cuts cows open. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. If you guys do watch some of those, that would be an interesting thing. Some of you, if you're interested, Google what I just told you, and then come back here and tell me how you feel. Like, oh, it's really gross, I don't like them. Or, yeah, you're right, it's cool. I wonder how many people like that. Okay, bye, guys.